We can talk to almost anyone, anywhere, at any time. We can Google our questions, ask AI for advice, stream church from a couch, text a friend, comment on a post, join a group chat with hundreds of people without ever leaving the house. Technology has never made connection easier. So why so many of us feel more alone than ever before? And here's a question that matters even more. What happens when technology stop helping us connect and start replacing the connection God actually designed us for? Because honestly, this isn't a video about whether technology is good or bad. It is about what happens when convenience slowly pulls us away from what it means to be human and from the way God made us to live. If there is one thing we should have learned from COVID, is this. Being connected is not the same as being in relationship. Now think back about what happened almost overnight. Work moved to Zoom. Church went online. Families started FaceTiming. Kids went to school through a screen. Grandparents saw their grandchildren through glass windows and video calls. Technically, we were still connected. In some ways, more digitally connected than ever before. But we quickly discovered something. A screen can transmit someone's voice and face without giving us everything that happens when two human beings are actually present with each other. We saw this most painfully with our elderly. Families did everything they could. They called, they FaceTime. Some stood outside nursing home windows just to see the person they loved. And technology was a gift in that moment, but it still could not replace walking into that room, sitting beside that person, holding their hand, and simply being there. And it wasn't just the elderly that were affected. Young people had Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok, gaming, Zoom, group chats, almost unlimited ways to communicate. Yet, researchers found that for many younger adults, more social media contact was associated with worse mental health during that period. That should make us stop and think. Because if communication alone were enough, this shouldn't have happened. COVID reveals something technology can quietly help us forget. Human beings don't just need information from one another. We need presence. We need human touch. We need spontaneous conversation. We need to sit beside someone with no agenda at all. Somewhere along the line, I think we started confusing our ability to reach people with our ability to relate to them. And here's the fascinating part. COVID didn't teach us something new. It exposed something scripture had been saying from the very beginning. Before sin entered the world, before sickness, before broken families, before social media, and before smartphones, God looked at Adam and said, "It is not good for man to be alone." Human connection wasn't God's solution to the fall. It was part of his original design. Now, I want to be clear about something. I'm not saying technology is bad. Even now, technology gives us so many opportunities the previous generations never had. I can speak to someone across the world in seconds. I can learn almost anything from my phone. I can use AI to help me think through an idea, organize information, or solve a problem. Technology can extend human connection. The danger comes when we expect it to replace human connection. And I think this is where the line is becoming increasingly blurred because something can begin as a tool that helps us connect and slowly become a substitute for the very thing it was supposed to support. A text message can help you stay connected to your friend, but it cannot replace sitting across from her when her marriage is falling apart. Live streaming church can be a blessing when you're sick or unable to attend, But watching church every week from your couch is not the same as interacting with other believers. AI can help you process a difficult question. But if every time you are confused, afraid, or unsure what to do, you immediately turn to AI, you may slowly train yourself to seek answers from a machine before you seek God. The question is no longer simply, is this technology useful? The better question may be, what is this technology replacing in my life? Is it replacing conversation with your husband, time with your children, sitting with a friend, being part of a church community, quiet time with God, or even your willingness to sit with uncomfortable emotions long enough to understand what is really happening inside? And when I think about God's design for human connection, I keep coming back to Jesus. Now think about what the incarnation actually means. The Son of God did not stay in heaven and simply send us instructions. He came here. He took on flesh. He lived among ordinary people. He ate with them, walked with them, touched the sick, sat at tables, wept with grieving friends. John 1:14 says, "The Word became flesh and dwelt among us." That's astonishing when you really think about it. Jesus willingly humbled himself to enter our world and experience life from within it. Philippians 2 says that although he existed in the form of God, he took the form of a servant and humbled himself. God's response to our brokenness was not greater distance, it was presence. And I think that mattered for the conversation we are having about technology. Because our world keeps moving towards removing the need for physical presence. Why meet when you can Zoom? Why visit someone when you can text them? Why ask someone for help when AI can answer instantly? Why gather when you can stream? But the beauty of the gospel story is that it begins with a God who came near. He did not merely communicate with humanity, he entered into relationship with humanity. Jesus could have loved us from a distance. Instead, he chose proximity. So when technology offers a version of life where we can have information without relationship, communication without presence, and convenience without community, I think Christians should at least stop and ask, are we becoming more efficient at the cost of becoming less relational? Because the life of Jesus suggests that presence is not extra, it is part of how love works. The incarnation tells us something profound. Love draws near. Now, one thing I noticed about myself after COVID was that I had gotten very comfortable staying at home. And the strange thing is, after a while, you almost forget what you are missing. You forget how good it feels to sit across from someone and have a real conversation, to laugh with people, to meet someone new, to be in a room where you can actually feel the energy, read the body language, and connect in a way that just doesn't happen through a screen. I had to become very intentional about breaking that cycle because it is easy to tell yourself, well, I'm just introverted. I like being at home. And maybe you are introverted, but being introverted doesn't mean you were designed to live disconnected from people. For me, owning a business made that even clearer. Business has forced me to get better at connecting with people. Not just networking, but genuinely caring about people, listening to them, understanding what matters to them, building real relationships. And I have realized this isn't just good for business, it is good for us as human beings. Because the more we retreat behind screens and convenience and technology, the easier it becomes to forget that some of the richest part of life still happen face to face. So maybe the question isn't, is technology good or bad? Maybe the better question is the way I'm using technology help me live the way God designed me to live? Or is it quietly replacing the relationships I was created for? Because technology can connect us, but it cannot create physical connections. It cannot sit across the table from us. It cannot replace community. And it certainly cannot replace God. So this week, I want to challenge you. Be more intentional. Call someone. Meet with someone. Sit with someone. Put the phone down long enough to be fully present.